From Nasdaq's MarketSite, I'm your host, Kristina Ayanian. And joining me today is CEO of Convergent Dental, Rob Gershon. Rob, thank you for joining us. Welcome to Nasdaq.
Thank you so much for having me. Very much appreciate it.
Very happy to have you. Now, we have a lot to discuss. Convergent Dental is really revolutionizing the dentistry space, especially with your Solea All-Tissue Laser. Tell me about this product and why it's so significant.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. It's an incredible product, and there have been many revolutions in the medtech space, and this is a good illustration of another revolution. Like all revolutions, they lead to a change in the standard of care, and that's exactly what's happening. So the Solea All-Tissue Laser for dentistry, think of all tissue as hard tissue, think teeth, soft tissue, think gums. And what is revolutionizing the industry is the patient experience and the doctor, the dentist experience as well. And that experience you can think of as anesthesia-free and blood-free for the patients, which completely changes their experience in going to the dentist.
That's amazing. It really is a win on all fronts. Talk to me about some of the testimonials that you've had from both the patients and the doctors.
Yeah, the testimonials, and you could always view our testimonials on our website at convergentdental.com. The testimonials are truly extraordinary. What makes them extraordinary is the level of conviction and level of passion that comes from the doctors themselves and the patients. It really changes and elevates the experience both for the doctor and the patient. And it's impossible to capture it in words, but seeing the testimonials really bring it to life.
That's amazing. Tell me more about the technology. What does the technology specifically do?
Yeah, so it is among the most versatile technologies in the dental office. Think of it as dentists using it all day, every day, on virtually every patient. So it allows the dentist to do, and it's mostly for general dentists and pediatric dentists, and they can do almost all of the procedures, all of the hard tissue, so really filling cavities, and all of the soft tissue procedures, some of which they refer out to specialists. And this actually allows the dentists who are trained on doing these soft tissues to now have the modality to keep those patients in-house. So it expands the procedures that they do. And it's really important for the patients because for the patients, like we could all relate to this because we all go to the dentist. And for the patient, they don't have to leave the office and the hands they trust most, the dentist that they have the relationship with, and get referred out to a stranger. So it's really an extraordinary experience for everyone.
That's amazing. Really a win-win-win on all fronts.
It is.
Speaking more broadly, what are some of the industry trends that you're seeing, and how is Convergent Dental positioning itself to follow these trends and to really maximize on the opportunity?
Yeah, one of the hottest trends, I think it cuts across all industries, is the patient experience. And in all other industries, it's the customer experience, right? So many companies are striving to elevate that experience. And this is the sweet spot for Solea. It really changes the way patients experience going to the dentist. So for example, we all go to the dentist. So you might go for your 6-month checkup. And during that, you have your cleaning, the dentist comes in, and the conversation can go like this. Bad news, you have some cavities. So what happens then? You go out to the receptionist, you reschedule 1 to 2 appointments depending upon how many cavities you have. The Solea experience goes something like this. Bad news, you have a few cavities. What we can do is if you have an extra 5 to 10 minutes, we can take care of the cavities now using the Solea laser. We could do it anesthesia-free so that you don't have to have a shot, you don't have to get numb, and as soon as you get out of the chair, you can go have lunch, you can go back to work, go back to the gym, resume your life. And that's a good illustration of elevating, that patient experience. I have one other very quick example, and this one's a little bit of an emotional one. I mentioned it's used for the general dentist and for the pediatric dentist. And it's interesting, my wife is a clinical psychologist, and she works in the school systems and advocates for special needs children. And it's this population that in the world of dentistry is somewhat underserved. It is very challenging getting them into the dentist, and you can imagine what the experience is like. With Solea, it completely changes that game. It is a uneventful experience. And why the pediatric dentists really talk about this a lot is it literally changes the course of oral health for these patients for life. Wow. And it's extraordinary. The stories are just extraordinary.
That's so remarkable, and it really is breakthrough technology.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely, revolutionizing because it is that disruptive. And as I mentioned earlier, it's a platform, so you can really use it all day, every day.
And it's not only investors that are noticing, companies are also noticing. You have a recent partnership with Patterson Dental. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the medical device space, so I've been in the space for over 3 decades, and I'm always accustomed to very finite populations of patients. So there are only so many knee replacements and hip replacements. But in the world of dentistry, general dentistry and pediatric dentistry, you're working with really anyone who will have teeth or has teeth. So it's the general population. So with that, in order to properly serve that market, you do need an army. And this is where Patterson comes in. So we announced an exclusive relationship with Patterson. They're an amazing partner, and you need an army. So we have a direct sales team. Coupled with their team, we have nearly 1,000 sales reps to cover the enormous market of dentistry. And the last thing I'll say about Patterson, really just such a great partner, they share that level of conviction and passion. And it's very validating for us to have Patterson as such a wonderful partner.
That's amazing. And on the investor side, what role do investors play in scaling your operations?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a little bit of an unusual role, at least in my experience. This is my 3rd appointment as a CEO, and I've never had this experience. Our investors are incredibly engaged. They're sophisticated and involved, and of course, they're financially supportive, and you couldn't ask for more than that. What makes it unusual is their level of engagement. Now, some of our investors have seen and invested in revolutions in dentistry before. And for example, our largest investor was the largest investor in Align, the makers of Invisalign, who completely revolutionized the clear aligner business. So that same group of investors have seen the potential of Convergent Dental and Solea. So for us, having their engagement is incredible. The CEO community in medtech is a very small community. And as I compare my experience with counterparts, because I've never seen this before, but this is just my 3rd appointment. So I ask others, and they all say the same thing. Yeah, this is unusual, and it's amazing as a CEO to have that kind of support.
That is so remarkable, and it really comes from the top down.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Now, you're clearly an innovator in the tech space. What are your long-term goals with Convergent Dental?
Yeah, so Solea, as I mentioned a few times, it's a platform technology. So our commitment to the community is to continuously expand and build upon this platform, expand the capabilities. That means introducing new procedures that allow the doctors to do new and different things. So we have a cadence of every year launching an additional procedure. So we're going to continue that. Our long-term goal and vision is to drive the broad-based adoption of this really adoption-worthy technology and really help lead that revolution that the doctors are leading and really change the standard of care. So to put some numbers behind it, we have 2,000 installed lasers across all of North America, shockingly evenly distributed throughout the United States and Canada. So no real pockets, it's just evenly distributed. And our goal is what we call 8 in 2-8. So we plan on driving the adoption so that we have 8,000 installed lasers by 2028. And that, if we could accomplish that, will help really accelerate the revolution that we're experiencing.
That's incredible. Well, the numbers speak for themselves, and no doubt you will get there. Rob, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.